Hey guys, Captain Levi here again. This is going to be the part 2 of Fabula Nova Crystallis Woven In, or Final Fantasy 15 Fabula Nova Crystallis Woven In. In this episode, we're going to actually be covering everything from Final Fantasy 15 and Final Fantasy Type 0. But we're going to be going into Type 0 first, so we can learn of the Nameless Tome and how the goddess Etro and Pulse and Lindsay are actually on the cover of the game. Well, if you have the original Japanese game, but yeah, if you got Type 0 HD, it doesn't show the picture of Lindsay and Pulse on the cover of the game, but I'm going to be showing you guys exactly how they're depicted in this game. Well, for starters, let me just recap exactly what happened in the last video. What I was basically just trying to say was that there's always a goddess, and there's always Pulse and Lindsay. And for some reason, Lindsay is always trying to reach the realm of the divine. For some reason, you're already a god, which makes no sense. But Lindsay is always trying to get to it. And I'm highly starting to believe that those three beings that we see in the Final Fantasy 15 trailer, the Dawn trailer, those might just be Diva, Pulse, and Lindsay. Even though Diva has more of an important role in this, and y'all are going to learn about Diva here in just a moment. I'm going to show y'all where she comes in. It's in Final Fantasy Type 0 that she pops up. She's actually told to be one of the two deities that are meant to stand watch and not partake directly into what happens to Orients or in the timeline of the world. So yeah, okay, so let's start off by watching this video real quick. It's called Beyond the Horizon of 600 Million, which means that Orients and its residents have failed 600 million times in a row to break the spiral of death and rebirth of Orients. So in Type 0, the lore is a little bit different since when it comes to Fabula Nova Crystallis, because when compared to 13, at least, the gods that created this world have not left as they did with 13, well, in the story of 13. And 13, the gods Lindsay and Pulse left the world after first creating the surface. Then they created Fal'Cie to continue development of the world. Lindsay still built Cocoon and made its own non-malicious Fal'Cie to nurture and develop souls of mankind, so that one day Lassie from Pulse would bring down Cocoon, killing all humans, thus releasing enough souls to flood the door of the divine. So in Type 0, there are no Fal'Cies. That's how we can just already start that off. There are no Fal'Cies. Yeah, the gods have only made death unmemorable, and they set Armageddon Day system into play. When 9 and 9 meet 9, the depths of reason shall stir. When the seal of creation is broken, a voice like thunder shall sound, and thou shalt know we have arrived. This is a passage from the Nameless Tome, which is our only source of mythology in Type 0. Also in the Nameless Tome, we learn of a new deity who actually takes human form, and that entity is the goddess Diva. She is the one in charge of resetting the world to its early days, but in the Nameless Tome it says that there are two deities who are charged with standing watch over the world. From what I can depict, this is the goddess Diva and the goddess Etro. The reason I'm almost 100% certain this is Etro is because Etro is made with the same power that the god or the goddess Muin was made with. The Unseen. Sorry about sniffles and shit, but the Unseen. If you don't know who Muin is Bunavel's mother. Bunavelza killed his mother and made three gods before going to sleep for what was basically an eternity. Those three deities were Pulse, Lindsay, and Etro. Pulse in charge of creating land, while Lindsay in charge of, well, nurturing mankind. Etro was to do nothing, but with Etro being a god to do nothing, she begins to feel compassion and some pity for mankind, so she kills herself to give mankind souls. With our bodies crafted from the blood of Etro and our souls crafted from the Chaos Release, Etro now taking the unseen realm, the realm of the dead, Valhalla, basically. That's why Etro takes place in 13 like that. That's why you never actually see her, is because she is actually dead. She is the goddess of death. So if you understood all that, you can see how Etro pans out in Type 0. Once again, she's already dead, but we know her purpose is the exact same, because when you are reaching the Judge or Sid in Pandemonium, you hear Sid say, "Those born of the blood of Etro," or from the blood of Etro. So we know Etro is dead and mankind was born from her. We know this for sure, that Pulse is also the god behind the crystals that can make l'Cie, because if you put enough hard time and effort into it, you see into S ranking all the missions and playing them all out in Phoenix mode, you unlock l'Cie mode, which leaves your characters with eyes glowing red and illuminating Pulse brand somewhere on their body that just sticks out huge, and it's a Pulse brand. Lindsay, once again, isn't leaving a direct trace of evidence that he is here, ultimately playing the role of the malicious guy who's trying to pry his way into the door of the divine, like in Final Fantasy 13 as well. Okay, so all three gods here, plus the deity Diva, who resets the world. Basically, every time mankind fails, Pulse and Lindsay are given another attempt at opening the door to the unseen, and they are perfectly happy with that. They don't mind. Diva only resets the world once mankind has failed. Diva ultimately sides with mankind. There's proof of this because Diva actually plays the mother role of all the children of Class 0. The lore says that without Agito, their world called Orients must persist in its spiral. So Diva, or Dr. Alracia, has watched and taken care of the cadets in Class 0 to try and develop Agito from one of them, so that hopefully against infinitesimal odds, the spiral is broken. And that's actually what does happen in Class 0 at the end of it. So with all this knowledge on the table, I'm just going to go ahead and list all the core aspects of Fabula Nova Crystallis. Starting off with 1. The goddess of death, Etro, rules the unseen realm or the divine realm. 2. Etro pities mankind. 3. Lindsay and Pulse are infatuated by the divine realm. 4. Gods cannot see into chaos. This is how Lumina goes unseen by Benevolence and Lightning Returns. The divine realm is full of chaos, and yeah, gods can't see into chaos. So 5. Souls are the only way of reaching and entering the divine realm. And then we have number 6. Lindsay and Pulse work in harmony to bring about the end of mankind, to flood the door of the divine. So with all that said, let's go ahead and look at 15 and correlate some of these things. Okay, so in the anime Brotherhood, we see at the very beginning that Noctis almost dies. He's literally on the verge of death here next to what I believe is his mother. The lore clearly states that when a soul enters the divine realm and it's not ready to rest in the unseen realm of chaos, the goddess will send the soul back with a gift from the divine. If you don't say throwing a sword and teleportation doesn't sound like a gift from the gods, then I'm not entirely sure what would be a proper gift from the gods. But in Final Fantasy 13, Etro bestows the power of Eidolons to l'Cie, who are on the verge of giving up all hope. It would seem to be the same in Final Fantasy 15. We've seen multiple times now Noctis with red colored eyes. This doesn't have much proof to it though. So, but we do know that Lunafreya is an oracle with the ability to talk to the gods. Kind of funny because there is an oracle in all 3 of the Fabula Nova Crystallis entries we're talking about. The Sirius, Padre Sayul, or Suyul, the late Queen Andoria, and Lunafreya. I believe Final Fantasy 15 is the only abandoning the name Fabula Nova Crystallis so that new players aren't thrown off from the past Nova Crystallis entries. But I highly believe 15 still has Fabula Nova in this entry, just because if you look at the logo, it hasn't changed. It just color like a little bit, but these logos are drawn in the early development days, depicting themes that won't change even later on. And by looking at the logo, we're almost given pure proof that Etro is going to be in our presence. So yeah, guys, let's look at the logo. Let's break this logo down, and this is probably what's going to get y'all. Okay, so if you look here in that photo or the logo of 15, if you remove this figure, the sleeping female figure, this is not Etro, by the way. I used to think it was, but it's not. You actually have to remove her out of the way. Get her out of the way, and you can notice that this one little part, that's just her. But behind her head, you see the ball that is represented in all of the Fabula entries so far. And you also see the spikes on her head that Etro has on top of. You can clearly see the wing that sticks out on the 15 logo, up here at the top right, and then you can see the ball down at the bottom, which has been represented in all 3 of the type Fabula Nova Crystallis entries so far, which is type 013 in Final Fantasy 15. As you can see, you can see Lindsay on the right, the little dragon thing on the right side. That is the one. You can tell it's Lindsay because Lindsay is trying to pry its way into Etro, or up to Etro in its realm. While on the left, you got a more subtle god, or being, which is Pulse, which is going to be represented as Pulse. I know this much. And, I mean, I could break this figure down, or this picture down even more, but let's look at the 15 logo again. If you see this wing, right? You see this wing that's directly from Etro. The colors are what tell me and signal that Etro is behind the sleeping woman figure. You can see a dark blue dress to the side does not belong to the sleeping figure. The lady, the ball, and the dragon little figure down off to the bottom left hand corner, they're all layered on top of this figure that's behind it. Like, why do that, or just leave that in if it had no meaning to Fabula Nova? And then on top of that, the E3 2013 trailer had it says it right at the freaking very beginning of it. Like, it says it right at the beginning, even though that they're dropping Fabula Nova off completely. Even though, mind you, that was in 2013. Yeah, I get that. But still, it doesn't make sense for them to leave it. To leave Etro in the background. At least swap the wing out or something. You know, like that would make sense. But this is why I'm led to believe that Fabula Nova Crystallis is in Final Fantasy 15. It's gonna be there, regardless. Because, you know, Final Fantasy 1, 2, and 3, or 1, 2, 3, and 4, they didn't all have to be. They weren't named Final Fantasy 1 to Final Fantasy Type 1, and then, you know, like Final Fantasy Versus 1. Yeah, they were just named Final Fantasy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They didn't have to have that direct connection by name. So the fact that they threw out Fabula Nova doesn't mean shit to me, honestly. I believe that overall, the end of the game, everything it's gonna come down to is Etro, Fabula Nova Crystallis, and the gods. And I mean, once again, this is just my own opinion, but there's a lot of facts and just similar things that go on between all the games, and we can just see it in the logo alone. So guys, I don't know what else to even break down and show you guys on this, but I will be doing a breakdown of just Fabula and how they're all connected. We're done with the woven in. This is my theory of Fabula Nova Crystallis. Well, because there's also crystal in Final Fantasy 15. There's a lot of crystal in this game. So yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that. You guys can tell me what you think. If this wasn't good enough, I don't know, you can tell me if you need more proof, and I can try to get to work on that. But for the most part, guys, thank you so much for watching both episodes. Now we've now covered it up completely, and we are done with it. And yeah, I'll be getting up to that Fabula Nova explained video probably sometime this weekend. But I appreciate it so much, guys, and you guys take it easy. Captain Levi is finally out of here. Peace.